The viewers and fans have spoken, and we have listened. We're back for another 4 pictures of what piercing would look best on me. Sometimes when people send in pictures, they send in pictures where they already have piercings, and you need to work with what they have. How can we do that here? Now, when we look at the septum piercing, it looks really good. I believe it's straight piercing. The jewelry, I think, is just turned a little bit. But a quick solution, an easy solution would be to put a solid segment or some sort of clicker in there, which will generally keep the piercing looking really, really straight. Now, another piercing I think would look really good would be high nostril piercings. Now, high nostril piercings can work as long as it works with their anatomy, because it kind of depends on where the bone and the cartilage all start up there. And another factor, which I know about and you don't yet, is that this person has glasses. When we're looking at the glasses, we also need to accommodate for those high nostril piercings to make sure the glasses aren't resting on there. But I think with the high nostril piercings with the glasses, it would look super, super cool. Another possibility would be a lip piercing, whether it's off to the side or a center labret. Both would look really, really good. Now, when we look at her ears are fantastic. These curves she has, like where the snug is here, you could definitely fit 1, 2, possibly even 3 piercings in there. It would be a really, really rough heel, but it would look really, really cool. Another possibility would be a rook. This rook is thin and pronounced and just screams, "Pierce me." Now we look across the top. There's not enough room for an industrial because the center part of her ear here raises up, and I think it would interfere. But the options for other piercing, we could also do a tragus piercing. I can't believe I missed this, but if we look at the tragus and anti-tragus, they look like they're almost parallel to each other. So doing an orbital basically through the tragus to anti-tragus. An orbital is basically one piece of jewelry going through 2 piercings, and that is generally a ring, like a captive bead ring like this, or a circular barbell. I prefer circular barbells because if the piercing's overswelling or needs adjusting, you can adjust it a little bit if that's what you need to make it heal a little bit better. Also looking here, the conch is nice and round. You could fit a nice cluster in there. There's a bunch of options, but if it was up to me, I would pick the orbital and possibly a rook and a couple snugs. That's what I would do. Now, this next guy has a very pronounced eyebrow ridge, and it's just telling me to pierce it. I could see 1, possibly 2 eyebrow piercings. I don't know if I see the symmetry thing on this guy, more like 2 piercings on one side. Same thing, I could see nostril piercings. I can see him getting away with a ring a lot more than the stud, but of course, heal it up with the stud first and then change to the ring. If he was doing some sort of lip piercing, you can see how pouty his lip is, which means it just kind of protrudes and sticks out. A vertical lip piercing, I think, would look really, really cool. Maybe some slightly bigger beads on there. He's got a lot of awesome features, but again, I like the eyebrow, the lip, and the nostrils. That's what I vote for this guy. Look at the rook on this guy. That's what I want to pierce on him. I could definitely see 2 rook piercings, nice little curved barbells. It would look sweet. Now, the other thing is the last girl we were looking at had a tragus, anti-tragus, where we could do the orbital. If you look at his, it's completely the opposite. It's not very prominent, either one. So I don't know if I would necessarily want to pierce either one of them. I could get one in the tragus, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Now, when we look at his doth piercing, it looks like it would fit in there really, really well, but you could also put a very large ring in there, which you kind of fill in the blank spots where you can't do other piercings, or the same thing with a conch piercing. You could even do a cluster on the outside and probably still have room for the doth, which not everyone can do. So there's some options there, and cool options because they can be large pieces of jewelry. Looking at his lobes, you could definitely start as many as you want. I don't know if I'd see necessarily stretched lobes on this guy, but I could see several, like maybe 3 or 4 possible earlobe piercings. Pretty much anyone who would look at this girl is going to immediately be drawn to her eyes, and it's not appropriate to do eye piercings. So eyebrow piercings is the next logical thing. Just a simple eyebrow piercing, maybe some cute little diamonds or gems up there, opals. I think blue opals would be really cool, kind of bring out the color in her eyes. Another thing we could do here would be a nostril piercing with a hoop, of course, after it's healed with a stud first. And she does have very, very nice lips. I could see more on the upper side, more of like a Monroe or a possible Medusa piercing. If she didn't have any other piercings, was going lip piercing, I would say Medusa. Otherwise, if she had an eyebrow piercing, maybe do the other side of her lip to kind of contrast for the mineral piercing. Let's take a look at her ears. This picture, the hair covers up her ears a little bit, but you can see she already has a tragus piercing and a helix piercing, possibly even a lobe that looks like it's set out a little bit, not exactly centered, which makes it tough to wear and set up other piercings on the earlobe. Now, if this is where her earlobe piercing is, I'm guessing it is. I'm hoping it's not just a mole. But if we did this one here, we could also do another one next to it and another one below it, kind of creating a triangle. These little clusters in the earlobe here can look really, really cool. Granted, you're not going to be able to do huge head jewelry, but you could mix it up and have some different options here. Another thing I would say is maybe do a couple more helix piercings across the top, having 2 to 3 going down her ear. Her hair covers it pretty well, so I don't know if I would do a forward helix. I can't tell if she has the right anatomy for it, but her hair would cover it anyways. But yeah, the cluster of piercings in the earlobe, possibly a conch piercing. I can't see her doth because of her hair, which is a shame, but I would say conch piercing would look fantastic. When we first look at this girl, you see her glasses and how bold they are. And I think one thing we should do is bring the tension down just a little bit closer to her lip area. She has very nice lips, and centered and symmetrical Medusa piercing, I think, would be amazing, or even a labret. But if you did the labret, I could also see her being a little bit higher up to wear a nice tight little ring around her bottom lip. Also, nostril piercings, maybe doubles, one on each side. Some reason I see symmetry with this girl a little bit more. That's just me. Let's take a look at her ear. She already has pre-existing piercings that look pretty cool. She's got a rook and a conch piercing. Now the conch piercing just has a ball on there. I would say let's upgrade that jewelry to a little cluster or possibly a ring to go all the way around. It's not an orbital, it's a conch piercing with a ring. Now also with the rook piercing, it looks like there's room to put another one on the inside. So I'd see if she's into the double piercing in the rook. And of course, you got the ring on the helix piercing out here. If you took one of these nice little gem clusters where it has the curve, the 5-gem cluster, I think that would really redecorate her whole ear. If your picture wasn't picked this time, be patient. I have more of these videos to come because there are lots more pictures to go through. And if you're interested in having your face analyzed by me, figure out which piercings look best on you, send in a couple pictures to me to PiercingWithScott@gmail.com. Make sure you bring a front-on picture and a side profile picture, like you went to jail. If you enjoyed my video, make sure to give me a like and subscribe, hit the bell, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. We'll see you all in the next video.